Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. Today I want to talk about leveraging your time because there are some activities that you are doing as a designer that you should not be doing or not spending that much time on. So let's talk about some of those things today. Now, let's first talk about kind of this idea of leveraging your time. I know as a designer that there are really two very, very important activities in my business that make it so that I can make money as a designer. The first one is designing. Duh, we've got to be designing in order to get to the next place where we're actually selling those designs, okay? So if you're not spending a good portion of your time actually in design time, we've got a problem because you need to be designing in order to make money. The second thing that you should be doing to leverage time is whatever it takes to get that product listed or for sale. If you have those things done, then you will be profitable, right? Because you're going to be going through your design process model and using that framework to be profitable, right? And so whatever it takes to get that listing up or to get that manufacturer deal or whatever it is you're trying to get licensing done, that very much is the second activity that's worth your time. So what are activities that I find designers doing, spending a lot of time doing that they shouldn't be doing? Okay, so number one is spending an awful lot of time in the ideation or visionary phase. This is not something you should be dedicating time to, you guys. You should not. I find that the best thing you can do is draw from personal experiences to make things that you want to make that you think other people will buy. If you're using those banners at your own house, if you are using those Halloween haunted mansions at your own house, guess what? Other people will as well, okay? So instead of spending all this time in ideation, trying to figure out what to make and do, which gets people stuck, you're doing it for an hour, 2 hours, or whatever during the day, we have got to get rid of that so fast. Now, doesn't mean I don't do research, right? So if I have an idea for something I want to make, for example, I've been thinking about this haunted village that I want to make. I've done lots of haunted villages, so I want to do something a little different, but I've been thinking about it. I might go on the internet or Pinterest and look at other people's haunted villages other than the ones that I've made, just to get myself some ideas about what I can do, right? That is one thing I can do. But if I spend all of my time, like the next hour researching that, that is a waste of time. I would say something like that takes me 5 minutes at most. I will dedicate 5 minutes to doing that kind of research. That's it. And I am seeing so many designers spend a lot of time in ideation, and it's just not a great use of time. It's just not, you guys. The second thing that I am seeing a lot of people do is spending a little bit extra time making their design exactly perfect. Now, if you have a licensing manufacturing contract, yes, that is what you should be doing. You're going to go through and make sure it's absolutely perfect. But for those of you who are doing listings digitally or spending time in online shops or platforms, that is the wrong way to spend your time. Instead, you are going to get much better if you spend some time really moving forward and getting through designs quickly, okay? So just like that overly perfection, getting really nitpicky with yourself is really actually not the way to do things, okay? In terms of making sure that you are spending your time doing the activities you should be doing, I recommend you don't spend too much time just, I don't want to say thinking about design work because that's not exactly what I'm talking about because that's kind of visionary. Instead, what I'm talking about is like building yourself like crazy processes. Does that make sense? So like, for example, I will meet designers who spend an awful lot of time building like color and swatch libraries for themselves. Should you do it at some point? Yes. I think it's like I teach in an advanced color theory course, and that course I show you how to build all your palettes. So you do it one time and one time only. I don't spend weeks and months building extra palettes and swatch libraries and all of that stuff for myself. I also don't go out of my way to learn other techniques to do something if I already know how to do it. Illustrator, Photoshop, Procreate, a lot of them have activities and things you can do where you can do it multiple ways. If you learn every single way, it does make you an expert in the programs. It doesn't make you an expert designer. So knowing every single little way to do things and thinking about it and trying to figure out, like, that is a waste of time. If you know how to do something and you know how to do it proficiently well, right? Like you know how to do it well, just do it the way you've been doing it. Don't spend all your time recreating and rebuilding that process. That actually reminds me of my previous episode, which if you didn't go listen to, it's just me mostly laughing at this grim fairy tale. But like the moment a system works, you guys, you use that system. You don't try to rebuild it. Every time we rebuild something, it takes a lot of energy from our brains. And when we do that, then it takes away energy from the other things that we should be doing. And a lot of it has to do with creative things, right? So don't be spending gazillions of hours building yourself color palettes and swatch libraries. Instead, spend a very certain amount of time doing that if you know it's going to make you faster in the future. But guys, I think people go way overboard with this. Like they've got all these little systems set up that are maybe like over the top systems. I'm going to tell you right now, even though I do have a few color palettes and stuff that I tend to use, most of the time I'm not pre-building them for myself. I don't have a lot of that. I have a few that I work from, but I find that my evolution as a designer, I've changed the way I've done things over the years, so you don't have to get crazy about it, okay? Use them in a way that makes sense for you, all right? So your best activities for leveraging your best work is literally doing two things, and that is designing well, but not designing to perfection standards, and two, whatever it takes to get the listing or the manufacturer so that you're making money. That's it, you guys. So all these little, activities we do on the side, unless it's going to get us to those two activities, and lots of things you do can be justified to get you to those two activities. Just be careful and thoughtful as you are going through it so that you're making sure and being smart about the way you're using your time. After all, the one resource that we cannot replicate, you guys, is time. I know a lot of you will tell me you're time poor and you're money poor, but I am telling you right now, money can get solved. You can figure out ways to make money. Many of you come to Design Suite so you can figure out more ways to make money. There is an infinite amount of money that you can create. And honestly, you don't need to create that much in order to make your life pretty good, right? So a lot of you just need a little extra because you want an extra vacation or you want an extra this, that, or the other, right? What I find is that the thing that I am lacking the most is time, and I cannot replicate it. So whatever you can do to make yourself more time is a smart way to go. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me on this podcast. I love having you here. Hopefully you're getting a lot out of this and figuring out ways that you can make your design business really work for you. And I'll see you later.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.